Welcome to the Keep Hub channel. Our episode today is about Foreigner.
It's great to be here. And it's funny, just saying the name Foreigner almost triggers a reflex.
Oh, absolutely. People just start air drumming or humming a chorus somewhere.
Exactly.
And we're not just talking about any classic rock band here. It's a statistical anomaly, a literal hit machine.
A hit machine is the perfect way to put it.
I mean, you look at the catalog, Cold as Ice, Hot Blooded, Urgent, Jukebox Hero, and of course, I Want to Know What Love Is. It's like they cracked the code for what works on the radio.
They absolutely did. I mean, we're talking about over 80 million records sold worldwide. That puts them in the absolute upper echelon of rock history.
It really does.
But what I find so compelling for this deep dive isn't just the nostalgia. It's the incredibly unique and, frankly, kind of controversial state of the band today.
Right. That's the paradox. Because
Yeah.
if you buy a ticket to see Foreigner in 2026, you're seeing a show that, well, it is Foreigner technically. It sounds exactly like Foreigner.
Perfectly like Foreigner.
But when you look at the stage, it's a completely different group of people.
Completely. It's the ultimate Ship of Theseus experiment in rock and roll.
Yeah.
I mean, as we speak, the band is touring, selling out huge venues, carrying this legacy forward, often with zero original members on stage.
And that is the part that blows my mind. Because usually a band's identity is tied to the frontman, right? Or the lead guitarist.
Of course.
No Mick Jagger, no Stones. But Foreigner has, I don't know, it's evolved into something more like a sports franchise or a symphony orchestra.
That is the perfect analogy. And we're going to unpack exactly how they got there. Because to understand this whole legacy phase,
Yeah.
you really have to go back to the beginning.
Right.
This wasn't a bunch of high school friends in a garage.
Yeah.
This was calculated. It was a transatlantic experiment
Yeah.
born out of sheer necessity.
Okay, so let's set the scene. It's 1976, New York City, and you've got Mick Jones, a British guitarist who is having a very, very bad year.
A terrible year. I mean, Jones is a seasoned pro at this point. He'd been in Spooky Tooth, he'd played with Johnny Hallyday in France.
So he knew his way around.
Oh yeah. He joins the Leslie West band, they fly to New York,
Uh-huh.
and the band just implodes almost immediately.
So he's literally stranded in New York with his guitar and his bags.
Pretty much. But his manager, a guy named Bud Prager, sees the potential. And Prager tells him, don't go home, stay, write songs, build something new from scratch.
And so he starts recruiting, and this is where it gets interesting because he's a Brit in New York, so the lineup becomes this kind of hodgepodge.
A fascinating mix of backgrounds, and if you look at that original roster, on paper, it really shouldn't work.
You've got the British side, Jones, of course, Dennis Elliott on drums, and then Ian MacDonald.
And Ian MacDonald is a heavy hitter. I mean, a founding member of King Crimson.
Mhm.
We're talking serious, complex, British prog rock pedigree.
Flutes, saxophones, all of it.
All of it. But then Jones pairs them with these gritty Americans. Al Greenwood on keys, Ed Gagliardi on bass, and then he finds the voice.
Lou Gramm.
Lou Gramm is the X Factor.
Yeah.
Jones remembered him from a band called Black Sheep, sends him a plane ticket. And the second they get in a room together, you have this incredible clash.
Yeah.
You've got the sophisticated, sort of artsy British melody from Jones and MacDonald, and it just crashes right into Graham's soulful R&B American rock and roll grit.
It's the perfect recipe, but they almost blew it with the name. I was looking through the notes. They were dead set on calling the band Trigger.
They were. Can you imagine? They sent out demo takes labeled Trigger.
It sounds like a horse, not a rock band.
Exactly. Thankfully, the name was already taken. And that's when Mick Jones has this little epiphany.
Right.
She realizes, wait a minute, if we're in America, the three Brits are foreigners. If we go to England, the three Americans are foreigners.
So no matter where they are, half the band is the outsider.
It's kind of profound, right? Especially for a band that critics would later just dismiss as corporate rock.
Yeah.
That whole idea of being an outsider is baked right into their name.
And into the sound. You listen to that first album from '77, and it's not generic at all. It's this amazing synthesis of styles.
And the public responded instantly. I mean, there was no building a fan base in the back of a van. They put the album out and boom, 5 million copies.
Feels like the first time. Cold as ice. They just arrived, fully formed.
That kind of instant success is rare.
Yeah.
But what's even rarer is what came next. They completely dodged the sophomore slump.
They went the other way. Double Vision in 1978. 7 million copies. Hot-blooded. They were just unstoppable.
But this is where the story starts to shift. It goes from this happy success story to the ruthless business of staying on top.
Yeah, by '79, with the Head Games album, Mick Jones is feeling the pressure, the sound is changing, the 80s are coming, he wants something tighter, punchier.
Wants to conquer arenas.
And to do that, he felt he had to, well, trim the fat. And I was shocked reading about the firings in 1980. He didn't just replace a guy, he fired Ian MacDonald and Al Greenwood.
Founding members, it was a brutal move. And it's often cited as the moment Foreigner really leaned into that corporate rock label.
Because Jones and Graham essentially said, we don't need the art rock textures, we don't need flutes anymore.
We need sonic impact. They slimmed down to a quartet to streamline the whole sound.
It sounds cold, but you have to admit, from a strategic point of view, it was arguably the smartest thing they ever did.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Because the result of that purge was the album 4.
1981, the masterpiece. And a huge part of that is the producer they brought in, Robert John Mutt Lange.
Mutt Lange, a legend for a reason.
Yes.
You can hear it. 4 doesn't sound like a band in a room. It sounds constructed.
That's the Mutt Lange touch.
Yeah.
The studio is his instrument. Those gated drums that sound like cannons, the layered vocals that sound like a gang.
But here's a detail that I think perfectly sums up the new Foreigner sound. The keyboards.
Oh, I know this one. It wasn't a band member.
Nope. It was Thomas Dolby.
The She Blinded Me with Science guy, which is just wild.
Isn't it? You have this hard rock album, but that haunting, atmospheric synth intro to Waiting for a Girl Like You. That's all Thomas Dolby.
And on the flip side, you get Urgent, which is a hard rock song, but it has this synth pop pulse. And then, out of nowhere,
The Sax Solo by Junior Walker, a Motown legend.
that solo is just, it's iconic, it's frantic, it's soulful. It makes no sense on paper, but it fits perfectly.
And that's why Fee4 stayed at #1 in the US for 10 weeks. They managed to blend Motown, synth pop, and hard rock into this absolute juggernaut. Jukebox Hero came from this record too.
The ultimate anthem. So they're at the absolute peak of their rock credibility, kings of the world. And then they release the song that changes everything.
And not necessarily for the better, at least internally.
Agent Provocateur, 1984, I Want to Know What Love Is.
The ballad to end all ballads. It wasn't just a hit, it was a global phenomenon.
You've got the New Jersey Mass Choir, you've got Jennifer Holliday on backing vocals. It's a beautiful song.
It is. But you have to put yourself in Lou Graham's shoes for a second.
Right. You're the hot-blooded guy. You're the dirty white boy. And now, suddenly, grandmothers everywhere love your band because of this soft, gospel-tinged song.
It created a massive identity crisis.
Yeah.
And this is where that tension between Mick Jones and Lou Graham really just exploded.
Mick loved the polish, the crossover appeal.
And Lou wanted to rock. He felt like the band was losing its teeth.
And once that crack opens up, it's really hard to seal it again. The late 80s just feel like this slow-motion divorce. They both do solo albums.
Graham has that huge hit, Midnight Blue, which proved he could do it on his own. And then he finally just walks away in 1990.
He leaves to form a band called Shadow King. And you know, looking back, neither side really won that breakup.
No. Jones tried to keep Foreigner going with a new singer, Johnny Edwards, for an album called Unusual Heat. Have you heard it?
I have. It's competent. But it's not Foreigner. The spark is gone.
Exactly. And Graham's new band didn't set the world on fire either. The magic was always in the friction between Jones and Graham. So, inevitably, they reunite in 92.
But the timing was just awful. It's the early 90s, Nirvana has happened, Pearl Jam is on the scene.
Nobody wants to hear polished 80s arena rock anymore. They were seen as dinosaurs.
Yeah.
They put out Mr. Moonlight in 94, and it barely made a ripple.
But then the story takes a much darker turn. It wasn't about sales anymore, it became about survival.
This is the part of the story that really hits hard. In 1997, just as they're trying to rebuild, Lou Graham gets this devastating diagnosis.
And brain tumor.
A benign brain tumor, but the location was incredibly dangerous. The surgery to remove it was invasive, and it damaged his pituitary gland.
And the recovery was just brutal. He gained a lot of weight, his energy was gone, and most critically for a singer, he had to basically relearn how to use his voice.
It's a real testament to his courage that he ever came back at all.
Yeah.
But the dynamic had changed. Mick Jones, down the line, was also dealing with his own heart issues.
You've got these two titans of rock just battered by health problems, trying to keep the machine running, but the performances were inconsistent, the old tensions came back.
And so in 2003, Graham leaves for the second and final time. And normally, in the rock biopic, this is where the screen fades to black.
The end. The singer's gone, the era is over.
But Mick Jones just refused to let the brand die. And this brings us to the Renaissance. the Kelly Hansen era.
I have to give credit where it's due. When Jones hired Kelly Hansen in 2005, a lot of us rolled our eyes, oh, a karaoke singer.
Right.
But if you saw them live back then, Hansen was an animal on stage.
A dynamo. He didn't try to impersonate Graham. He channeled the energy of the early days. He was running around climbing things. He completely revitalized the live show.
And that let them become a touring juggernaut again. The real product wasn't the new album Can't Slow Down, it was the concert experience.
Precisely. But as this era stretched on, and we're talking nearly 20 years with Hansen, which is longer than Graham's entire run, we start to see that Ship of Theseus paradox take full effect.
The philosophical puzzle, if you replace every plank of wood on a ship, is it still the same ship?
In Foreigner's case, the planks just kept changing. Original bassist Ed Gagliardi passed away in 2014. Ian McDonald died in 2022. But the biggest shift was Mick Jones himself.
We only learned in 2024 that Mick has been battling Parkinson's disease. But even before that, he had stepped back significantly.
Right. Starting around 2011, he'd miss shows. Then he'd only play the encore. Then he wouldn't appear at all. For the last several years, fans have been watching a band called Foreigner with 0 original members on that stage.
Which brings us to this recent history and just the absolute whirlwind of the last 2 years. They announced a historic farewell tour starting in 2023.
Which, in classic rock fashion, just keeps extending through 2024, 2025, now into 2026. But the lineup changes didn't stop.
And this is the part I think requires a real debate. Kelly Hansen, the guy who basically saved the band, announced he was leaving in May of 2025.
You'd think that would be the end, right?
That should have been it. Losing the iconic original singer is one thing. Losing the guy who anchored the band for the next 20 years is another.
But the brand is just too strong. They didn't fold, they pivoted. And what a pivot. They didn't go find another famous replacement. They looked to the back of the stage,
Luis Maldonado,
who had been playing rhythm guitar and bass for them. He steps up to the mic in late 2025. They bring in a new guitarist. They even have an actor from the Jukebox Hero musical making appearances.
So let me play devil's advocate. If I buy a ticket for the 2026 tour and I'm seeing Luis Maldonado singing with a band of, hired guns, am I seeing Foreigner? Or am I seeing a really expensive, officially licensed cover band?
That is the 80 million record question. But I think the answer lies in how we view rock music versus, say, classical music.
How so?
If you go see the New York Philharmonic, you don't expect the musicians who played under Bernstein to still be there. You go to hear the repertoire, played by experts.
So you're saying Foreigner has effectively become a classical institution?
I think so. Mick Jones is the composer, the architect. He doesn't need to be the builder anymore. By stepping back, sadly, forced by his Parkinson's, he has proven that the songs themselves are bigger than the people who first played them.
It probably helps that they finally got that validation they deserved. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction in 2024.
That was a crucial moment. It legitimized the entire legacy. And seeing Lou Gramm up there, joining the current band despite all the bad blood, it was a moment of closure. It bridged the gap between the classic era and this new legacy machine.
And they're still raiding the vaults, too. They released that old demo, Turning Back the Time, in August of 2024. It's like they're reminding us, hey, this is where the soul of the band lives, even while the touring machine looks totally different.
It's a very smart strategy. You keep the history alive with archival stuff, but you keep the business alive with a young, energetic touring band that can hit the high notes a 7-year-old just can't.
It really does challenge our entire definition of a band. We hold on to this romantic idea of the gang of friends, but Foreigner is showing us a different model.
They are the test case. If this works, if Luis Maldonado can sell out arenas in 2026 and 27, they will have written the blueprint for every other classic rock act to follow.
That's a wild thought. In 2050, we could be seeing the Rolling Stones on tour with members who weren't even born when Satisfaction came out.
It's entirely possible. Foreigner has separated the art from the artist in the most literal way you can. They've ensured the music can survive the mortality of the musicians.
It's the ultimate survival strategy. The band becomes a brand, and the brand can live forever.
As long as people want to scream cold as ice at the top of their lungs in a field somewhere, Foreigner will exist in some form.
Well, it certainly changes how I'll listen to Jukebox Hero next time. It's not just a song about a rock star anymore. It feels more like a prophecy about the music outliving the man.
I think that's the perfect way to look at it.
Our episode today has ended. Thank you for watching, and see you in another video.